Good evening. This is the 8-hour workday with Rex Haymarket, where every crisis somehow becomes your bill and their bonus. Tonight, we are talking about a very modern kind of magic trick. A company fires thousands of workers. The stock market applauds. Executives call it efficiency. Consultants call it transformation. And somewhere in a server farm, a machine trained on human labor gets a little better at making human labor optional. That is the story tonight. Not just layoffs, not just artificial intelligence, not just another round of rich people discovering that payroll is a cost, but stock buybacks a vision. No. Tonight is about the moment the people who built the machine realized the machine had been built for them. They trained the gun, and now the gun is being pointed back at them. Let's start with the part that always gets softened. The layoffs. Meta is cutting 8,000 workers, 8,000 people, not theoretical head count, not a spreadsheet cell. People with rent, mortgages, kids, insurance, medical bills, aging parents, and probably a half-finished Slack message they never got to send. On top of that, Meta is reportedly eliminating thousands of open roles, jobs that were supposed to exist, jobs that maybe somebody was counting on, gone before they even became real. Microsoft is offering buyouts, Snap is cutting jobs, Nike is cutting jobs, smaller firms are cutting jobs, and across the economy, the phrase is always the same: streamlining, repositioning, flattening the organization, increasing velocity. That one is always my favorite, because nothing says increasing velocity like thousands of people being ejected from the moving vehicle. But there is one word sitting underneath almost all of this: AI. Sometimes they say it directly, sometimes they bury it in a memo, sometimes they dress it up as automation, productivity, or operating discipline. But the message is not complicated. The company is not saying we have no money. The company is saying we have decided where the money goes now. Because while workers are being told the business has to get leaner, the AI budget is getting enormous. Alphabet, Microsoft, Meta, and Amazon are projected to spend hundreds of billions on AI infrastructure. Chips, data centers, cooling systems, electricity, land, fiber, machines stacked inside buildings that look less like offices and more like temples to the quarterly earnings call. Meta alone is planning an absolutely massive AI spend. And that is the part you have to hold in your head, because these layoffs are not happening in companies that are broke. They are happening in companies rich enough to build private industrial empires for AI. So when they say, we had to make difficult choices, listen carefully. The choice was between people and infrastructure, between payroll and processes. That is not belt tightening. That is a transfer. Money is being moved out of labor and into capital, out of salaries and into servers, out of human beings and into machinery that never asks for health insurance. And this is what makes this moment different. For decades, Americans were told automation was mostly coming for somebody else. Factory workers, cashiers, truck drivers, warehouse workers. But now the layoffs are moving deeper into the white-collar world. Software engineers, product managers, designers, analysts, writers. People who were told they were safe because they worked with ideas. That is the part we are supposed to pretend is normal. A worker spends years building the platform. Their decisions become data. Their patterns become training material. Their expertise becomes a workflow. Their workflow becomes a tool. And then the company says, "Great news, the tool works." Followed immediately by, "Bad news, we need fewer of you." The company takes what workers know and turns it into software. And to be clear, AI is not magic, it was trained. It was trained on human writing, human code, human art, human decisions, human mistakes, human labor. The machine did not appear from nowhere, it was fed. Now every time this happens, we are told to look at the company ledger. Costs are up, margins are tight, fine. Let's look at the other ledger, the billionaire ledger. Because on the same planet where workers are being told they cost too much, the richest people in the world are watching their net worths jump by billions in a single day. Not because they worked a double shift, because the market moved. Because Wall Street heard fewer workers and translated it into higher margins. That is the machine behind the machine. AI may be the technology, but shareholder value is the religion. And in that religion, labor is always the sacrifice. This is why layoffs can become good news on Wall Street. A worker loses a paycheck. An executive gains a narrative. A billionaire gains more money in a day than thousands will earn in their lifetimes. So the question is not whether AI is useful. Of course it is useful. The question is useful for whom? Useful to help workers do better work, or useful to replace them after their knowledge has been absorbed? Useful to shorten the work week? Or useful to make fewer people do more work under more surveillance with less security? Useful to create abundance? Or useful to concentrate wealth even faster? If we are producing more than ever, why do I feel poorer? Why am I more replaceable? They sell the future as liberation. Then they invoice you for it.
And that brings us back to the name of this show, the 8-hour workday. 140 years ago, workers in Chicago demanded something that now sounds almost modest. 8 hours for work, 8 hours for rest, 8 hours for what we will.
Not yachts, not empires, time. A human life with enough time left over to actually live it. And now the fight has changed shape. The factory floor became the office. The office became the platform. The platform became the model. The people at the top will call this efficiency, they will call it innovation, but progress for whom? If the richest companies can spend hundreds of billions teaching machines, the problem is not that there is no money. The problem is who gets the money after the machine starts working. I'm Rex Haymarket. This was the 8-hour workday. Thanks for giving me one of yours. Like and subscribe to Clock In, and click the video on screen to stay clocked in. Mind the static, mind the spin, and mind who profits. Good night.